This is General Antonio Luna, the Filipino commanding general during the Philippine-American War. Today he's remembered as a hero and one of the best generals the Philippines ever had. So how did he end up suffering the same fate as Julius Caesar? See, in the late 1890s, the US had just claimed the Philippines for themselves, and Filipinos were not happy about it. But Filipino politicians were so tired of war and fighting that they wanted so bad to believe that the United States had good intentions. Even President Aguinaldo, their first president, was crossing his fingers. But General Luna felt different. He was like, bro, what are y'all thinking? Y'all are worried about your families and little girlfriends while I'm worried about our whole nation. Politicians were like, okay, Luna, chill. Luna's like, chill nothing. There should be no compromise here. We don't need the Americans. We need freedom. But see, the problem was, other than Luna, nobody really wanted to fight anymore. Spain was driven away and the Filipino soldiers were finally just ready to relax. But General Luna just wasn't having it. But see, one of Luna's biggest problems is how he communicated. He was very strict and stern and did everything by the book, which is probably why he was so good at his job as general. But his personality also made it difficult for him to get along with politicians. They would call him arrogant and accuse him of basically loving war. The thing is, the US knew about all these arguments within the Filipino government. In fact, they helped create them by finessing their way in. So they never even really worried or took the Philippine army seriously. They didn't even call it the Philippine-American War. They called it the Philippine Insurrection, which is why you didn't learn about it in school. But General Luna didn't care about none of that. He just didn't want to be colonized anymore by anybody. He was ready to give up blood, sweat, girlfriends, everything. He wanted the Philippines to be their own thing. And he couldn't understand why nobody else at the table felt this way. It made him frustrated and angry, which didn't help until one day a Filipino soldier was on a routine patrol and an American soldier saw him and shot him. And that's how General Luna finally got permission to go to war. Now, this was a pretty short war, and General Luna was right there on the front lines, shooting as much as he could and trying to motivate his soldiers to fight harder. He even sent a message to other Filipino commanders to send backup, but they all refused. They said, help who? Oh, that a-hole? Nah, we good. Luna said, they said what? Then demanded all these leaders to be arrested. And these leaders are boys with the president. But the president is like, guys, if he says y'all are under arrest, you're under arrest. The leaders are like, damn, it's like that? For how long? The president is like, oh, y'all can come out now. I just have to let them arrest you. But I mean, just come on. The leader's like, okay, cool. But man, something really should be done about this General Luna problem, right? That guy has no chill. Meanwhile, General Luna is back on the battlefield watching his troops get destroyed. But then Luna receives a telegram telling him to meet the president at a very specific church. So Luna pulls up with a couple homies, but he goes into the church alone. He quickly notices the president isn't there. Nobody's really there, besides a few people he could have sworn he had arrested earlier. So he cusses them out, and then he starts to leave. Then a Filipino soldier comes out of nowhere holding his bolo, which is like a machete, and slices Luna's face. Luna said, what in the world? You're finished. Then another soldier walks up behind Luna and shoots Luna in the back. Now the general is surrounded by who's supposed to be his own soldiers, and they all start stabbing and shooting him. Luna's boys out front heard the commotion and ran up, but they ended up getting shot too. Now there's a lot of conspiracy behind why this happened, but President Aguinaldo would stand firm that he had nothing to do with General Luna's assassination. Even American generals sent their respects, with quote saying, with the death of General Luna, the Philippine army lost the only real general the Philippines had. Shortly after, President Aguinaldo was captured by the US. The Filipinos were easily defeated into submission, and nobody was ever convicted for General Luna's death.